Hi, my name's Adam. Today I'm travelling on a train called the Great Southern, which begins in Adelaide and runs to Brisbane via Victoria, the ACT and New South Wales. It's a 3-day, 2-night experience, so come along and find out what it's like. In this video you'll get to take a look inside both the gold and platinum cabins, see all the meals as well as the kitchen where they're prepared, see highlights from scenery along the route and discover the tours included as part of the trip. The Great Southern starts at Adelaide Parklands Terminal in Keswick. At the time of filming, passengers are required to return a negative rapid antigen test before checking in. The Great Southern was introduced in 2019 and operates in December and January when the Ghan is not running. There are 2 classes of travel, gold and platinum, each with separate check-in queues. Larger bags are normally checked in while you take cabin-sized bags on board. Let's see the engines get coupled to our train. The Great Southern is operated by Journey Beyond Rail Expeditions. We'll be hauled by 2 NR Class diesels. The NR Class diesels are most often seen on interstate freight trains, but they also haul the Indian Pacific, the Ghan and the Overland. On today's train, there'll be 140 guests on board, 33 staff, and we'll have an average speed of 85 km per hour. Once checked in, tea, coffee and champagne is on offer. There's musical entertainment provided in the terminal before boarding.
This is our wonderful journey manager. This is Mario.
Now with great pleasure, I would like to announce that the Great Southern is available for boarding.
Time to board.
Hello. That way.
Today's Great Southern has 26 carriages and is about 640 metres long. These are the same carriages as those used on the Ghan to Darwin and the Indian Pacific to Perth and Sydney. A crew member will welcome you and directs you to your cabin.
Yeah. Adam, yes, you're number 14.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome aboard.
I'm travelling in a gold single cabin. This is car A near the front of the train. The only carriages in front are the crew accommodation, power and luggage cars. There are 16 single cabins in this carriage. Here's my cabin, number 14. Let's take a look around. Here's the seat, which the crew will convert to a bed tonight. There's a table which you can fold away and the footrest also doubles as a bench seat if you have a visitor. There's space underneath to store your bag and more space up here. The room includes a basin and you get these upmarket amenities. There are power points. You can hang clothes in this cupboard. There's also this little shelf, which is perfect for charging your phone. There's more storage space down here and also under the seat. There's a bin under the basin and your towels are in here. You can wind the blinds up. You'll be allocated times for your meals. You'll also get a booklet with the off-train excursions, which are included in the fare.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If I can have your attention, please. I just would like to advise you that we are going through some technical difficulties at the moment, so you will be losing power again for a few more minutes, and our departure is delayed.
One of the two power cars on this train has a fault, so has to be swapped over. There's a call button in each cabin. And after a delay of almost an hour, we're off. Time to look at the route. Our first stop this afternoon will be at Stawell to visit the Grampians. Tonight the train will pass through Melbourne, and when we wake we'll be in southern New South Wales. We'll stop in Yass for a day trip to Canberra. We'll reboard the train in Goulburn, passing through Sydney overnight, and after breakfast alight in Coffs Harbour. All up we'll travel more than 2,600 kilometres. Once back on the train, it's the final leg to Brisbane. A crew member will come around to give you an introduction to the train and to outline the features of your cabin and carriage. There are 2 showers in this carriage. Let's take a look. Each shower room has a toilet, and there are also 2 separate toilets per gold single carriage, so 4 in total. There's a large modern shower. These are full-sized bathrooms, so quite a bit bigger than the en-suites you find in the gold twin cabins. Time to find the lounge car. The lounge is in car E, so it's a bit of a trek, but with all the food and drink I know we're going to have, I think I need all the exercise I can get. At the end of each carriage, there's a small kitchen where you can make your own tea, coffee and get filtered water. We're in a tunnel in the Adelaide Hills, which is why it seems dark. I'm travelling on this train with my parents and uncle, so you might spot them, particularly at mealtimes. Here's a quick look at what a gold twin cabin looks like. For a detailed tour, see my video about the Ghan. Unlike singles, gold twins come with an ensuite. All meals and drinks, including wines and spirits, are included in the train fare. The Outback Explorer Lounge has a fully stocked bar. You can also get barista-made coffee. Outside dining times and the off-train excursions, this is where a lot of passengers spend most of their time. Here's today's schedule, although we're running slightly late because of the issue with the power car in Adelaide. Belair marks the end of Adelaide's suburban rail network.
Find historic stone villages dating back to the 1830s and some fabulous cool climate wineries producing excellent Pinot Noir and maybe Riesling too.
Mount Lofty is the highest station on the Adelaide to Melbourne line. We pass a few vineyards in the Adelaide Hills and a freight train. The city of Murray Bridge is located about 80 kilometres from Adelaide and has a population of about 19,000 people. We're now crossing the Murray River on the largest rail bridge in South Australia. The bridge was completed in 1925. The Murray is just over 2,500 kilometres long, making it Australia's longest river. We get another view showing the length of the train. It's time for lunch. There are 2 Queen Adelaide restaurants on this train. This one catering to passengers in the first 4 cars, and another towards the back of the train looking after gold passengers in that half of the train. Here's the wine list. And the other drinks on offer. And the menu. Staff will take your drinks orders first. Here are the entrees: Wagyu beef bresaola, grilled kangaroo loin, and the mains: grilled Coorong mulloway fillet, grilled Murray Bridge pork loin, and this is roasted wild mushrooms. And of course, who can go past dessert? This is Riverland apricot and plum trifle, and Murray River salted caramel and hazelnut ice cream. As you might have worked out, many of the meals use ingredients from the regions that the train traverses. We're now crossing into Victoria. The only train serving Horsham in Western Victoria is the twice weekly Overland from Adelaide to Melbourne. I have to admit the run-up to this journey was a little stressful with the pandemic, border restrictions and ever-changing rules. I wasn't even sure if it was going to happen. But once you're on board, the train's left, you've got a drink in your hand and you can watch the scenery, you really relax into it and almost forget about all the troubles of the wider world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will soon be entering the Grampians region of Western Victoria. We will be stopping in the town of Stawell, founded in 1853 and known as the gateway to Grampians National Park. Stawell also plays host to the famous Stawell Gift Foot Race, which has been run every Easter since 1878.
There are 3 tour options known as off-train experiences to choose from in the Grampians. I went with the Venus Baths Walk. The Grampians are now visible in the distance. There's coaches to take passengers on their respective tours. Local guides take us on the short walk to the rock pools. Once the staff confirm all passengers are back from the various tours, the train, which has been waiting in a siding, returns to Stawell Station. Because the platform is much too short for the length of the train will need to make 2 stops, picking up the passengers in the first half of the train and then in the second. During this process, the train blocks the level crossing, which you can see in the background. There's also a driver change here, which is why the engine has stopped early on the platform. Shortly after reboarding, it's time for supper. I think they call it supper given the hour and that there's no entree, just main and dessert. I can't show you a range of dishes because we all chose the same meal. The buffalo ragout. It was delicious. And the warm pear and ginger pudding. The staff have put up decorations in the lounge car for New Year's Eve. The train has its own onboard musician, Andy, who moves between the various lounges and also takes requests from passengers.
I may or may not have played Free Falling in excess of about 2,000 or 3,000 times.
The crew make up your bed during your evening meal. They provide branded slippers and there's a nightlight on the floor. We're now passing through Melbourne. That's a suburban train. Good night. Happy New Year. You might be wondering why I'm awake so early. Sleep on the train is dependent on a number of factors, principally noise and movement, both of which are affected by the quality of track and the speed of the train. I recommend using earplugs or noise-cancelling headphones. But I will say that the bedding materials are very plush and comfortable. We stop in Junee in the Riverina region of New South Wales to change drivers. Pacific National has a depot here and the town is something of a rail hub. This station building dates from 1883 and is heritage listed. Here's the schedule for today. You can have breakfast anytime between 7 and 9 a.m. Time for our first breakfast on the train. All passengers are offered juice, tea and coffee. This is the muesli. This is the full breakfast. And these are the shakshuka style eggs. It's always impressive when you see the full length of the train on a bend. Wi-Fi is available in the lounge car, but it's dependent on a Telstra mobile signal. There's also a 500 megabyte data limit. There's a moving map if you want to keep track of where we are. Time for a coffee before our day trip to Canberra. All passengers will be taken on a tour of Parliament House, including lunch, before going on one of the following 3 tour options.
Have a great day.
We'll travel to Canberra by coach. The train pulls forward to allow passengers in the back half of the train to alight. Although there is a rail line into Canberra, the platform and passing loops on the line are far too short to accommodate the Great Southern. The train would also need to take a circuitous route via Goulburn that would take a lot longer than transporting passengers by bus from Yass.
We're just crossing Lake Burley Griffin, named after Burley Griffin, built and designed by Paul Canberra. Over on the left of the square building is the National Library.
We visit the Senate and the House of Representatives before lunch in the Great Hall.
The passion of putting it together and impressing people, getting that wow factor.
This is Daintree barramundi with local potato. And this is the Armadale lamb rump. Dessert is mango, coconut and passion fruit indulgence.
A lot of people think about Parliament House, they don't think about, everyone thinks politics, but they don't think about the catering. So.
This is inside one of the Parliament House kitchens, where the catering staff demonstrate making soufflé. Later, we're taken by bus to Goulburn in the Southern Highlands to reboard the train. Obviously not that one, which is a freight train from Brisbane to Melbourne. So far it's been a really good journey, really well organised, lots of really unique experiences, good food, good wine, so yeah, it's going really well. Now we have an opportunity to look at a platinum cabin. These cabins convert into 2 singles or a double bed. No bunks here. They're almost twice the size of a gold twin cabin. They also feature a full-size ensuite bathroom. This is a Platinum Club Carriage, which serves as both a dining room and a lounge car. There are 2 kitchens on the train, one looking after the front half of the train and this one looking after the back. The staff are prepping for dinner service. Here's a closer look at the kitchen. And this is the Junie lamb rump, on offer for dinner tonight. I also had a chat to the train manager, Mario.
My job involves ensuring that all our guests and staff on train are having a wonderful journey. From the staff point of view and my point of view, it's all about our guests. It's one of those experiences traveling on a train where you will never have that opportunity if you go on a cruise or if you're flying, because there's always something to see, and you meet so many people, you strike up friendships, the stories, the conversations, and we all see this country together in a way that constantly evolves and surprises us. It's like the sunrises and the sunsets. It's all magnificent, but will never be repeated again.
Dinner time. The entrees include grilled duck breast and smoked kingfish with beetroot. The options for main are Junie lamb rump, slow cooked beef cheek, or roasted baby carrot tart. Dessert options include peach melba and a cheese plate. Later in the evening, we pass through the suburbs of Sydney. When we awake, the environment is a lot wetter and more tropical. Here's today's itinerary. Today's tour options include a coastal boardwalk, a guided bike tour, a visit to a lookout with a tour of Coffs Harbour, or a helicopter tour, but that costs extra. Nambucca Heads enjoys a subtropical climate, with an average high of 27 degrees Celsius in summer and 19 degrees Celsius in winter. We eat breakfast in front of someone's house while waiting to pass a freight train.
Yes, please. Coffee, thank you.
This is the chai bircher. This is blue swimmer crab with corn pikelet.
Thank you.
There we are. Thank you very much.
And baked banana slice. I'm leaving the train here in Urunga for the Boardwalk, but other passengers are staying on board to travel 30 minutes north to Coffs Harbour, where the other tours begin. Urunga Boardwalk is at the junction of the Bellinger and Kelang rivers and takes you to where the rivers meet the ocean, with views of the Great Dividing Range. You might spot some local wildlife. The bus takes us on a quick tour of Coffs Harbour before we reboard the train. Again, the train needs to make 2 stops to pick up all the passengers, and during this time, blocks a level crossing. We pass banana plantations. And before long, it's time for our final meal on the Great Southern, lunch. This is the grilled tropical mango chicken salad. And the chicken quesadilla. And here's the grilled swordfish. Dessert features mango parfait, caramelised pineapple and coconut sorbet. This region of New South Wales is called the Northern Rivers, and it's not hard to see why. Casino is served by 2 daily XBT services from Sydney, one continuing on to Brisbane and one terminating here. We're about to cross the border from New South Wales into Queensland, and in a couple of hours we'll be arriving into our destination, Brisbane. The journey overall has been amazing, delicious food, very sumptuous meals, a great wine and alcohol selection, all your wants and needs are catered to. I definitely recommend this trip. It's been really enjoyable. It's just such a lovely way to travel, to see the countryside, and the scenery has been really varied, quite changing, beginning with the Adelaide Hills, which are very pretty, then heading across the plains of Western Victoria, through the Grampians, and then up into New South Wales and the beautiful southern Highlands, and then it changes again. Once we woke up this morning and we're in rainforest type area was very wet and green and scenic, and now we've got mountains as we're on the New South Wales Queensland border, and you're never bored. In fact, you don't have much free time at all because you spend a lot of the time on tours, eating, drinking. Anyway, stick with us to the end and we'll show you what the rest of the journey is like. We're about to travel on one of only 2 railway spirals in New South Wales. This will allow us to climb 30 metres and cross the ranges into Queensland. The Cougal Spiral was built during the Great Depression and is now heritage listed. The train will cross this bridge shortly. As we climb the gradient, why not have a look at the cost of this trip, as some people would say the fares are a little on the steep side. I paid $1,779 Australian dollars for this trip, which is the cheapest fare on this train. A gold single cabin booked more than 6 months in advance, which gets you a 20% discount compared to booking closer to the travel date. A gold twin cabin is only marginally more per person if you're travelling with someone else, and includes an ensuite bathroom. And of course, platinum fares are substantially more. Is it expensive? Yes. But you have to remember that the fare is all-inclusive. As well as your accommodation, it includes all your meals and drinks, including alcohol, as well as the off-train experiences. From the time you arrive at the train station in Adelaide until the time you step off in Brisbane, you shouldn't need to spend a cent. When you look at it like this, I think the fare can be justified. We're now in the scenic rim region of Queensland. Service in the lounge car stops about an hour before our arrival in Brisbane, with guests taking advantage of the call for last drinks. We're now on the outskirts of Brisbane. The train terminates at a freight terminal in Brisbane's southern suburbs. Guests travelling in Platinum class get a chauffeured car to their final destination. Time to say goodbye to my cabin. Passengers in gold will be transported by coach. You might be wondering why the train doesn't run into Roma Street Station in Brisbane CBD. The standard gauge platform at Roma Street is too short for the Great Southern and has no locomotive turning or runaround facilities. Tomorrow morning, the Great Southern will head back to Adelaide, but over 4 days and 3 nights, with a different range of stops to the northbound journey. The southbound train stops at Coffs Harbour for a seafood dinner on the beach and has 2 full-day tours, one in the Hunter Valley or Port Stephens and another in regional Victoria or Melbourne. The fares are slightly higher. I really hope you enjoyed coming with me on this trip. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Hope to see you then.